Happy holidays, Miami sports fans, and welcome to another edition of the Miami Sports Report. I'm Sean Fowler, and let's see what we have this week. The Dolphins opened a terrible present on Sunday. In fact, the Panthers opened the same gift. The Heat got rolls, because they just keep on rolling, and the Marlins got a few little stocking stuffers. Let's see the holiday haul. We are debuting a format change for our Dolphin section starting this week. I decided that since we don't have any video highlights, and looking at text screens of every single scoring drive can get a little bit boring, that we should change things up and pick up the pace. My journalism teachers told me never bury the lead, so we're going to start with the final score, and then any scoring plays. Not the scoring drives, just the scoring plays. Then we're reviving an oldie but a goodie that I call 3 up and 3 down. I'll pick 3 things, whether they're players, parts of the team, things that happened that were good, and 3 that were bad. Alright, with that out of the way, the Dolphins had to be feeling powerful heading into Sunday's game in Buffalo, as they were the masters of their own destinies. Beat the Bills and the Jets, guarantee a trip to the playoffs, just that easy. Of course, you do have to win to stay in control of that destiny. So let's see if they could hang on to it. Not only couldn't they, but they dropped it with the loudest thud possible. The Dolphins looked uninspired, skittish, and completely inept, especially on offense, as the Bills defeat the Dolphins 19-0. In the first quarter, former Dolphin Dan Carpenter hit a 45-yard field goal with 6:42 left, 3-0 Bills. In the second quarter, Fred Jackson had a 9-yard TD run with 13:18 to go, extending the lead to 10-0. And in the fourth quarter, Carpenter added 3 more field goals, 21 yards with 12:01 left, 22 yards with 6:43 left, and 26 yards with 2:26 left. 19-0 Bills. What a week to introduce 3 up, 3 down. It won't be easy on either side. Our first up is a half-hearted bend but don't break award to the Dolphins defense, because this could have been much, much worse. The way the Bills were shredding through the Dolphins D, I'm actually surprised they only scored 1 touchdown. Our second up goes to Dolphins backup quarterback Matt Moore, not for anything he did, really. He did have a nice pass to Brian Hartline, who for whatever reason couldn't catch anything Ryan Tannehill threw him, but also a pick. He gets the up just for being ready, waiting this long to see the field and getting out there. Our third up goes to Philip Wheeler, who had 14 tackles, 8 of them solo, to lead the Fins D. 3 down? Where do I start? And just 3? I'll try. Our first down goes to quarterback Ryan Tannehill. This is a disappointing down. I said just last week that those 2 end-of-half drives against the Patriots were the stuff of franchise QBs. So he follows that with a 10-for-27 game where he didn't even have 100 yards passing, finishing with just 82. You know that ESPN QBR stat that measures QB performance on a 100-point scale? Tannehill got a 3.2. 3.2 out of 100. Of course, some of the blame falls on our second down, the offensive line, who made Dolphins history for the wrong reason. The Dolphins' record for sacks allowed in a season was 53. The Fins matched that and blew past it in this game, giving up 7 sacks to make the new record 58 and, hopefully not, counting. But they didn't run block either. The Bills are one of the league's worst rushing defenses, and the Fins only managed a total of 12 yards on 14 carries. You know, I think our third down just goes to the entire team. I'm sorry if that means Tannehill and the O-line get 2. I'm just referring to the Dolphins as a whole. The mess the Dolphins left on the football field and had the guts to call a game was sickening, confusing, and confounding. You know what? I need to rant about this on camera. It simply defies logic that this is the same Dolphins team that finally beat the Patriots last week. I know it was cold, but it wasn't snowing. There was some freezing rain, but even that cleared up. And listen, you are in a division with 3 teams from the Northeast. Every season is going to involve important games played in cold weather. The Dolphins' record falls to 8-7, but there is the faintest of silver linings to this. Shortly after the Dolphins lost to Buffalo, as if loss is a strong enough word to describe it, the San Diego Chargers defeated the Oakland Raiders, ensuring the Dolphins would be alive into Week 17. And shortly after that, the New England Patriots finished off the Baltimore Ravens, giving the Dolphins two different paths to get into the playoffs next week. So, let's take a look at the Dolphins' playoff picture. First things first, no more slack on the rope. A loss eliminates the Fins. No tiebreakers, no what-ifs. The Dolphins must win. Then they need help. But only from one team, and they have two options. The Dolphins will make the playoffs if the Bengals beat the Ravens or the Chargers beat the Chiefs. Week 17, Fins fans are adding Go Bengals and Go Chargers to Go Dolphins. The Miami Heat are a team that is impossible to buy a gift for. I mean, what do you get for the team that has everything? The Heat brought a 20-6 record into this week's back-heavy slate of games. Could they keep their winning streak going? The gift that literally keeps on giving? Let's find out. On Monday, the Heat played host to the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks have been an average team this season, but the defending champs tend to always get their other team's best. LeBron had one of his king games, scoring 38 points. Ray Allen got the start for Dwayne Wade and added 19, and Mario Chalmers scored 12. Off the bench, Birdman Anderson led the Heat with 12. But the Hawks kept things close and pushed the game to overtime. Birdman made a shot with 1:07 left in OT, and the Heat made just enough free throws to eke out a 121-119 win. After that, it was time for holiday basketball and really strange short-sleeved jerseys as the Heat took on the LA Lakers in California. The rest and play plan is working for Dwayne Wade, who tied for the Heat lead with 23 points. That lead was shared with Chris Bosh, who also scored 23. LeBron James took the rare third chair with 19 points. Ray Allen returned to the bench but stayed hot, scoring 12. The game was somewhat close throughout, but the Heat held on to win 101-95. The Heat stayed in California to take on the Kings on Friday night, and really this was basically a night the Heat took off. Dwayne Wade wasn't even listed on the active roster. Birdman Anderson and Ray Allen both sat out after looking just fine on Christmas, leaving the Heat to start Shane Battier and Roger Mason Jr. The Heat tend to do this against bad teams, but bad teams aren't as bad as they used to be. LeBron James led the Heat with 33 points. Chris Bosh scored 18, and Norris Cole scored 13 off the bench. But the Kings refused to go away and overtook the Heat in overtime. The Heat lose 108-103. The Heat stayed in the West, taking on the Trailblazers on Saturday night. And you know what games on Saturday night mean, don't you? That means it's time to unwrap a nice informative graphic. The Panthers have been like that kid around Christmas that's been riding around the old beat-up bike. Sure, it's getting them by, but it sure would be nice to see a nice shiny new one under the Christmas tree. So sure, a 14-18-5 record has been getting the Panthers through the season, but it really would be nice to see some more wins sitting all wrapped up nice and shiny. So let's see if they found some this holiday season. Unfortunately, they didn't find one waiting at home on Monday with the Tampa Bay Lightning in town. The Panthers took the lead late in the first period on a goal from Sean BERGENHEIM. But 19 seconds later, the Lightning found the equalizer, and it was downhill from there as the Bolts scored 3 goals in the second and 2 more in the third, winning the game 6-1. And then the Cats took in some holiday cheer, taking a Christmas break until Saturday when they hosted the Detroit Red Wings. And now, an encore performance from the informative graphic. We have reached the Marlins segment of the show, but unlike the past few weeks, there's not really a lot to report. There are 2 players who got a season with the Marlins franchise for Christmas, so let's find out who they are. The Marlins drafted hotly anticipated third baseman Colin Moran from North Carolina in the recent draft. But even if he flies through the minor leagues, as is expected, the Marlins needed a third baseman to hold the position down until he arrives. With that in mind, the Marlins have signed former Yankees third baseman Casey McGahee to a one-year contract worth $1.1 million plus some incentives. McGahee played in Japan last season where he hit ni-kyu-ni with Nijuhachi home runs. The Marlins have held firm to their commitment to shake up a pathetic offense, having made free agent signings at first, Garrett Jones, second, Rafael Furcal, third, McGahee, and behind the plate, Jared Saltalamacchia. To make room on the roster, the Marlins placed 2008 first-round draft pick Kyle Skipworth on waivers. He cleared waivers, and the Marlins outrighted him to AAA New Orleans. When he gets there, he's going to run into another new Marlin. The Marlins have signed former Mets center fielder Jordany Valdespin to a minor league contract. Valdespin was suspended 50 games after being linked to biogenesis in the recent steroid probe and was non-tendered by the Mets. Valdespin's contract does not include an invitation to spring training. He will start the season with the Zephyrs and have to earn a spot on the Major League roster. And for today's featured story, we're going to take a look at South Florida cleaning up in the recent FHSAA football championships. The region really dominated, winning 5 of the 8 classifications. Let's take a look. In Class 2A, Hialeah School Champagnat High defeated Victory Christian Academy 14-7. In Class 5A, Plantation School American Heritage destroyed Clay High School 66-8. In Class 6A, Miami Central dominated Armwood 52-7. In Class 7A, Dwyer High School from Palm Beach Gardens defeated Niceville 55-39. And in the largest class, 8A, South Dade defeated Apopka 41-28. Congrats to all of the South Florida schools that celebrated Christmas as state champions. That is going to do it for the Miami Sports Report this week. Now remember folks, this is going to be the last TMSR that is posted directly to this channel. Starting next week, TMSR will be posted to its new channel at youtube.com/The Miami Sports Report. So head over there and subscribe so you don't miss anything. I will try to post a reminder video next week in case anybody comes looking for TMSR here. Make sure you like the video by clicking the like button right down below. Leave us a comment or a question, and why don't you share this video with all of your sports-loving friends. Make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/The Miami Sports Report in order to keep following this vlog, and you can also subscribe to this channel, Sean Fowler, in order to see Almost Interesting, my me vlog. The next video on this channel is going to be Almost Gaming, as we're going to sneak in one more edition before 2014. But if this is the only vlog of mine that you watch, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've had a wonderful 2013, and I hope you enjoy your New Year's Eve. Stay tuned for one last 2013 edition of Bumbles and Fumbles, my blooper reel. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next year. Until then, go Miami! Shoot. Happy holidays, Miami sports fans. So starting this week, I decided that since things happened that I would change it. But if this is the only vlog of mine that you... Almost Gaming. And you can also subscribe to this channel, Sean Fowler, if you'd like to keep watching Almost Interesting, my me vlog. But if this is the only Almost Gaming, dagnabbit! And share this video with all of your sports-loving friends. Yeah, do that. And leave us a comment or a question. I've got to go over this again. And yeah, take 2. Make sure to like this video by clicking the like button right down below the video. Leave us a comment or a question while you're down there. And why don't you go ahead and share this video with all of your sports-loving friends. Make sure you... Take 3. No, 2 takes that are not good are not good. My me vlog. The next video on this channel will be our last Almost Gaming of 2013. We're going to just sneak it in right before the new year. And I forgot the rest. Dang it. And why don't you share this video with all of your sports-loving friends? You could do that if you wanted to. Please enjoy one last edition of Bumbles and Fumbles, my blooper reel.